Imagine waking up every morning knowing where to find shelter for the night. It's a heartbreaking reality that many people around the world face. Regardless of age and gender or ethnicity, countless individuals trapped in a cycle of uncertainty and vulnerability. They navigate a world that often ignores the struggles, leaving them without the basic of human rights and safety and secure home, lack of physical comfort and sense of safety and stability, and belonging without a stable dwelling. We all encounter the moments of hardship, personally or not, throughout someone we know. We face, while our experience may vary on things that remain constant, that feeling of vulnerability we face with uncertainty. Homeless touches upon the vulnerability of remaining as of fragility of a human existence, the importance of compassion and support. Our group has researched the topic of homelessness, examining its harsh reality, how it perish just about everywhere. Homelessness is an issue that can be solved by donating clothes that you don't need. In this speech, we will talk about the effect of homelessness, how we are wasting clothing, and how that clothing could be given to better use to better need.
I first want to talk about that. Homelessness isn't just a small area thing. It's happening in just around every city in America. However, the Bay Area specifically has one of the third largest populations of it. According to point-in-time accounts, by last year, around 28,000 homeless people were spotted just in the Bay Area alone. This is only closely behind by Los Angeles with 55,000 and New York City with 76,000. However, surely the government will be doing something to help us, right? Yes, however, they will take a while to do so. The efforts they are taking to do so is to give homeless people temporary housing and permanent housing. And they need a perfect balance of both, because if you don't have temporary housing, those in the streets will die. And without permanent housing, those in the streets can't live in your city perfectly and fine. This dynamic has forced the Bay Area to deal with homelessness slowly, and according to the Bay Area Economic Institute, this will take as late as 2037 before any kind of real stability happens. This seems to be so far in the future, but what can be done around now? However, let me ask you this. Many people in this room dedicate a significant part of our income to clothing each year, always seeking the latest fashion trends or simply just upgrading your wardrobe. However, it's crucial to understand that just these simple fashion things can cause a lot of damage. Across the US, people struggle to meet basic needs like shelter and clothing, and the fashion industry's push for constant wardrobe upgrades has led to a culture of people always wanting more and more. A study by the EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency, said that the US alone generates 92 million tons of clothing waste annually. Shockingly, more than 66% of it ends up in landfills, with the rest being either burned or recycled. This sounds bad, however, the landfill doesn't just stay in the US. It can overflow to places like Ghana, where a recent study uncovering around 15 million items of clothing arrive from Western countries each week. This in turn can affect the livestock, the people, and even the soil that inhabits places like there. However, you people can do something to help this. You aren't homeless. And there's a huge contrast between your lives and those lives of people who are homeless. And while we can easily decide to keep our latest clothing or decide to throw it away wherever we wish, millions of people out there lack the basic necessities to even have a clean shirt for the next week or have something to wear for the cold winter. Consider this, while we may have closets bursting with clothing, many homeless individuals even struggle to find a place to sleep, let alone have somewhere for them to be happy. According to NIH, or the National Institutes of Health, our reports found that more than 650,000 people were experiencing homelessness on a single night in 2023, which is a 12% increase in 2022. This includes families with children, veterans, and those and unfortunate. The discrepancy between those rich and impoverished is glaring. While many of us have the luxury to discard clothing at will, others are left to fend for themselves in the street, trying to survive just to the next day, or even to live for another. However, what can be done to help this? Surely there's something that we can do, right? And that is true, there is.
Just like my partner said, 66% of clothes are sent to landfills. And there is 92 million tons of clothing waste every year. And actually, the average person today spends 60% more on clothing than they did in the year 2000. This is just to say that we're very wasteful currently. This is a picture of the Adipa dump in Ghana, which is what my partner was talking about. So a lot of the clothes that we use and a lot of the things that we don't wear end up here, whether they're being thrown out or donated. Actually, a lot of the things actually do still end up here, and it is a big problem over there. But what can we do to help? I wouldn't ask a group of young students and young professors to spend the little money we have on charity. Money is tight, probably, but there is still something that all of us can do. We can donate. Donate the clutter that's in your house or all the things that you don't need. There are different ways we can do this, like donation bins, Goodwill, and the Salvation Army, or donating on your own. Before we start donating, there are some important things that we should know. The Chair of Sustainability at the Sustainability Council of the Fashion Institute of Technology recommends these steps. 1. Items should be clean and ready for immediate use. This means don't donate something that somebody couldn't wear. Don't donate shirts that are dirty or unwashed. Don't donate dirty socks and things like that. Items should not be torn. There should be no rips in the fabric. And actually, if there are rips in the fabric, that is why a lot of them just get thrown out. A lot of these donation places, as soon as something has a rip, they're looking for it and they throw it away because they can't donate it. Also, if possible, the clothing that you donate should be sorted into separate types. So you have one for shirts, pants, shoes, accessories, whatever it may be. But this makes it easier for the donation centers because many of the donation centers are overwhelmed, and when they have just giant clumps of clothing, oftentimes they will just have to throw it away. Also, don't forget what charity you're going to be donating to, because not every charity accepts the same things. One may accept strollers and one may not. One may accept socks and one may not. First, I want to talk about donation bins. Donation bins could be the easiest way to donate for many people as they're very convenient, but there are some things that you should also watch out for. Watch out for for-profit organizations. Watch out for there being no recognizable logo on the bin. Watch out that if it doesn't have a mission statement, usually they will have something that says where the clothes are going to, where the donation is going to. And watch out if there's no contact details, that's another bad sign. If you notice any of these things, it could be that these are actually for-profit groups, and what they do isn't actually donate the clothing to homeless people or to anybody. What they do is they're just gonna resell what you're donating, and that really doesn't help. the cause, really. Goodwill and the Salvation Army are some of the most common and most visible ways to donate. We know about them, but the thing is, sometimes they are actually very overwhelmed with their donations, so a large percentage of what they actually have does get thrown out as well. So that is something to watch out for. Goodwill accepts clothing, accessories, kitchen items, kids' toys, and more, and they do not accept large furniture, VHS tapes, pianos, or anything dangerous, if you have any of that. The same goes for the Salvation Army. Self-donating is a good option for people who want to donate from home and want to see change in their own communities. You can make listings on Facebook Marketplace and set your items for free. There's actually many large communities on there that do that. And here's a video that shows the impact people can make through donating.
Oftentimes, those in need rely on the goodwill of strangers when they're out stuck in the cold. A Greensboro group is stepping up to give back. Next Step Loved Ones hosted a food and clothing giveaway today in Greensboro. The group's founder says she got the idea on her route for work. She drives public transportation for the city. She says she sees a lot of homeless people with signs asking for food or clothing.
I'm concerned about them all the time. I just do what I can do.
I feel good that I'm able to do this, that I'm blessed to be able to help someone else.
Love to see this great work. She says all the clothing came from co-workers and friends who wanted to help her cause.
Donating actually helps yourself as well, apart from just helping other people. When we keep clutter in our spaces, it actually increases the feeling of chaos. And the feeling of chaos can make you feel overwhelmed. And this could lead to stress, anxiety, and difficulty focusing. Says Peggy Liu, a licensed psychologist and director at the Manhattan Therapy Collective. And according to Psychology Today, they say that people are less irritable, less distracted, more productive, and better able to process information with a decluttered and organized work area. And what could be a better way to declutter your space than to donate? Some benefits of donating are improved self-esteem, improved self-worth, increase in positive moods, and making a difference in your community. And this is what it could look like when you do all these things.
The term utilitarian refers to an ethical theory that favors actions to produce the best outcome or highest amount of utility, which usually refers to happiness or well-being. Utilitarianism mostly focuses on the consequences of an action rather than the intentions behind it. Peter Albert David Singer, who is a professor of bioethics at Princeton University. Singer's work specializes in applied ethics, approaching the subject from a secular utilitarian perspective. In his essay, Affluence, Morality, and Famine, Peter Singer puts forth an argument regarding the moral necessity of altruism. By making the claim that people should be morally obligated to donate to charity. It bases this argument off a famine in India, which happened at the time of the writing was 1971. Singer begins his argument by alluding to the starvation of 9 million Bengali refugees that occurred largely as a result of the Civil War. Yet he argues that people around the world have it in themselves to stop large-scale suffering from occurring, but have not done so, even with the amount of money that has been donated to relief funds. Singer argues that most people have a way of responding to the situations from one in East Bengali and the world, and others like it that the world is morally wrong. The implications of his argument, he contends, require a significant amount of reconfiguration, essential of moral values and the way the values can be carried out in society. Effective altruism, or EA, is a philosophy and social movement that uses evidence and reasoning to determine the most effective way to benefit others. While not originally framed as applied ethics, or practical ethics, foundational ideas are evident in Singer's work. He argues for doing the most good in the most effective way possible. Singer's approach is heavily influenced by utilitarian philosophy, which suggests maximizing well-being and minimize suffering. This involves calculating potential benefits through various actions and choosing that provide the greatest benefit for the most number of people. Singer emphasizes on giving to the most effective charities. Ones like, he often cites organizations like GiveWell, which evaluates charities based on their transparency and effectiveness. Sorry, tongue-tied today. Not all charities are created equal in their efficacy and impact of their work. While finding and verifying that the effective charities are crucial, it is a task that requires significant research and transparency of the organizations. Effective altruism considers a long-term survivability of aid. Also includes programs to affect local communities and promote self-sufficiency and build local capacity rather than creating new ones. What we call charity has existed since the humans created civilization. Without charity, it would simply be survival of the fittest, or worse yet, survival of the most privileged. Charities often act like pioneers, testing innovative solutions and piloting new approaches. They dare to take risks unburdened by bureaucratic constraints and just social issues. Their absence would result in stagnation of social programs and would set a significant feedback for would have a significant setback for complex issues, whether it's natural disasters and humanitarian crisis or unforeseen circumstances. Charities often first mobilize first resources, provide aid, and alleviate suffering. Without charities, the response would be urgent situations would be much slower, and communities vulnerable without immediate support. support.
As we near the end of the discussion in the protocol, reflect on that problem of the issue at the hand. Homelessness isn't just a statistic or a distant problem. It's a reality that statistics and individuals in our own communities that desperate between the haves and the have-nots. That's crazy. Okay, I can't show those slides.
Audience supports the community. What are you trying to do?
Change my slide. No, it just doesn't matter. Are drastic and important that we take action to bridge this gap. Now more than ever, we must rally together as a community to address this pressing issue. I urge and every one of you consider the power of unused clothing instead of letting them gather dust in our closets. Let us donate them to those who need it, whether through designating donation center, trustworthy organizations like Goodwill.org and Salvation Army, or even by helping out the local donations. In our own neighborhood, every neighborhood in closing, let us be change wish to see in the world by extending a helping hand. Compassion's solidarity with our own society. A couple of quotes led by with this mindset would be, let us remember the true measure of greatness lies not in what we have, but what we give. As the wise Mother Teresa said, it's not how much we give, it's about how much we love we put into it giving. As Winston Churchill famously remarked, we make living by what we get, but what we make in life, by what we give. So let us go forth and embrace the power of giving. For in giving we found our true purpose and humanity.